Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. I'm Maya,
Hi guys, I'm Dishan.
and today we're talking about fear around creating wealth.
It's an exciting topic. Let's do it.
It's fear exciting, interesting. Okay, so why might we be afraid to create wealth? That's what comes up for me right now.
Well, I know that a lot of people don't take action because of fear, so that's coming out for me, and I can totally relate to that myself. I have done it, so I thought let's make a video of it.
Okay. Maybe let's explore like fear and what surrounds that fear, and then maybe we can talk about how to move through that.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Okay, so I guess obviously I want to build more wealth, want to have more money and more time, freedom, energy and all that. And I think one big thing I've noticed lately for me is that in my head I've made up all these stories about wealth, having wealth, accumulating wealth, and then having wealth. I've created these made up stories. Some examples might be like making money, accumulating wealth, building investments, whatever. I am afraid that it will be hard work. And then another thing that is, what would happen if I become really wealthy and I have all this money, but maybe my people and my network might not understand or be able to relate, and then there's a kind of fear of maybe not belonging or not being understood.
I can relate to that.
So there's some kind of fears or anxieties that kind of come up for me when I think about the future of wealth. How about you? Does anything come up for you about building and having wealth?
For me, for me, it feels like a lot of work. So the hard work takes, that would be the first thing. Like I do have to manage it all. So that's where the fear kicks in. And it's interesting how you say losing people. I'm actually okay with losing people. It's not a bother.
Interesting.
Yes.
It's not a concern.
It's not a concern.
Yeah.
It didn't come up for me. But what comes up for me, and I have experienced with investing in different things, that I would stop at certain process. And what I realize that over the years, the process stops when I don't have the knowledge of the process. So I was stuck at some operational or a certain level, and I was trying to do it myself, where I have created overwhelm and fear for myself, where the way to get around it was to get help or ask for help, or get an expert to do so. So that was fear around me.
Is that fear of not accomplishing your goal? Fear of failing? What is that?
Interesting. It is a fear of not completing the process. So I love going through the process. For me, it's always the enjoyment there. So if I'm halfway stuck, it's like a project plan for me. If I'm buying a property, the whole process is a project, and the outcome is the purchase of the property and settling, right? So if in halfway through I'm stuck, so it would be an halfway through the outcome of what I want.
Not getting it.
Not getting it. Yeah.
Okay.
So interesting. So I want to know about a bit more losing people. So how do you? So suppose you're very rich and you have a yacht and a lot of cash. What's happening to these people that you love?
I think it's fear of judgment. And it creates separation. And I think everyone has a different view of money, and money makes people funny, right? So like even for me in the background, like I admire rich people and everything they've built, but then to think that I would be one of those people, and to hear what other people say about those rich people, they might end up saying it about me.
Oh,
Right?
wow.
So it's like, oh, she's top shit, or who does she think she is? And you know, and people might think that, oh, she's just lucky, you know, she didn't have to work for it, or I guess there's just that negative perception. And then I think as we level up, then people are going to fall away because they can't relate, and they might not be on the same path. So then I guess there's a little bit of losing people. But I say that and I feel it, but it's almost not a concern too. It's like two different kind of energies.
So you enjoy the thought, but it's actually not a very strong one, the feeling
Of
of
what?
it. Like enjoy the thought of that people are judging you, or
Why would I enjoy that? No, it feels crap, because I guess, you know, I don't necessarily want to be perceived negatively by people.
Yeah.
But then if you boil it down, I probably would rather pursue the path of wealth than trying to keep them happy.
Okay.
It's just something I'm noticing.
Mm.
Yeah. So yeah, there's those concerns, fears, and anxieties, and they're all future-based, like projected, and they're not even real. And I don't even genuinely know what people think. And I'm just making it up. And that fear, I guess, when fear becomes a problem, like, is when it does stop you from pursuing what you want. Otherwise, you know, fear, it's a part of being human. You know, you can't necessarily delete fear from your life the whole time. But when it becomes like, it's okay to be scared, but when it becomes a problem is when it stops you from having what you want, or keep on moving, and not like spiraling and, you know, all that stuff. That's when fear is a problem.
Yes, and I guess I understand. Like my biggest fear would be that I am out of ideas. Like I cannot brainstorm with somebody the ideas or strategies or navigate around what's out there, because my brain can only have that much, and this is an area I'm learning. So I'm not built to do it. This is something that's happening. It's the knowledge is based on experience and you know, education. So it is, if I reach to that level, or have reached to that level, at that time I hit the fear. I will stop, I will procrastinate, overwhelm, and even the thought of it that I go through, that creates fear in me.
Yeah, thinking about it now.
Thinking about it now, I'm like, okay, you know, that is the biggest fear I have.
What, like, I think when you hit that point where you're like, feel stuck, and you're like, oh, I might not get there, then it could generate more negative self-talk, which stops you, because you're telling yourself all these negative things, which doesn't empower you. And then, you know, on the understanding part, like, I think a big thing about noticing fear is if there is a lack of understanding, because it's the unknown. Like, you might not see possibilities, you might not know what's coming, and you're like afraid to kind of lean in or step forward. And someone told me recently, like, I think she was mentioning Eckhart Tolle. Who, you know, wrote like The Power of Now. He mentioned like, when you notice fear and the unknown, you like to kind of progress, just like lean into it. So it sounds like a very gentle process where, like, and I think I see it as like, okay, get curious and ask yourself, what are you scared of? What is there to be scared of? And by leaning in, you're, you know, kind of switching modes to kind of learning and being curious, like, oh, what is it? And is it actually what I think it is, or is it a big deal? Is it made up? You know, So yeah, like so one way to kind of progress from fear is that leaning in and being curious and learning.
Yeah.
And I think when you talk about not just like the wealth path, but like almost anything, I think fear, there is a big lack of understanding. And once you start to learn about what you're dealing with and what the fear is, you can start to manage, expectations, manage the situation. This is reminding me of some lady. She was scared of spiders.
Yeah.
And then what she did was she started to learn about spiders, and now she knows, okay, this spider's okay. This one I want to stay away from, instead of just being paralyzed by all spiders,
Correct.
So there's, that's an example of, leaning towards getting curious, understanding and learning instead.
And that is a good point. That is a good example. What interesting you said about, moving through the fear. So when I didn't even understand at some point I had fear. Like I was questioning, why did I stop? Why this process has stopped in the middle of nothing?
Okay.
So
you just noticed that you stopped.
Stopped, yes.
Okay.
And I didn't even identify that was the fear driving. So it took me a long time to navigate the process, and through meditation or self-awareness work, that okay, this is what's happening inside. So the self-knowledge, the truth is, fear is always gonna be there. It's it's an unavoidable. It is going to be there, but it's this understanding where it is at, regardless wealth or not, and we learn to navigate through that process. I believe that's what you were trying to say as well.
Yeah, I think so. Like, and I think there's different ways,
yes,
to handle it. So this is just kind of two
ways.
examples. Other people deal with fear in different ways too, and I think you kind of need to notice, maybe also backtrack to see, okay, when have you been scared and how did you get through it last time? Maybe you can apply the same, actions or methodology or thinking.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
that's a good point. Well, we would like to know what your fears are and how you overcome it, especially the fears around wealth.
Yes. Yeah, let's talk about fear of wealth. There's fear of all these other things as well. But yeah, let us know, like, what are you scared of? And then what are you noticing? Is it real? Is it a real fear? Is it a real threat? Or did you just make this up, and then see how you can get through it? Or what is your plan? We'd love to know that in the comments as well. So please subscribe if you want to join us for more conversations like this.
Yes, subscribe.
Yeah.
Don't forget to press the subscribe button.
Yeah, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.